welcome to Mindful Weekend Yoga. I'm Jessie Mahoney. I saw a few new faces, so nice to meet all of you. And today's class is still going to be of the mindful, gentle variety. Today's theme is going to be the healing your pelvic floor with intention, since I am still healing my pelvic floor. And it is something that many of us need to do. We often talk about strengthening it, but taking good care of your pelvic floor is about also softening it, stabilizing it, and healing it. And much of that is actually drawing our attention to it and being mindful and calming our nervous system and being able to relax. And so this class will invite all of that. It's nothing in here is medical advice. It's really just to help you draw attention to that part of the body and send kindness there. And knowing that is the deepest part of our core. And if we can strengthen it and befriend it, that it will likely serve us well in all of the other things that we do and in the both physical and emotional realm. So I invite you to sit atop blocks. If you want to sit on the floor, that's fine. But if you have blocks, bring them. And find your ischial spines, your sit bones, and connect them deeply into the earth beneath you. And take a moment to arrive there. Coming back to the breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Using the breath as a vehicle to arriving, to connecting mind, body, and spirit. Coming back to the breath once again, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And pause and take a moment here, noticing where your hands have landed. Are they gripping your thighs? Are they light on your thighs? Are your shoulders tensed? And take a moment to relax and soften in with intention. Drop the shoulders, perhaps flip your hands open to the sky as an invitation to soften and be open to whatever comes up in this practice. And if it feels good, close your eyes, allowing your face to soften. Begin by sending the next inhale into that heart space. And exhale, letting go of any tension, sadness, hurts, frustration, whatever else might be going on in there. Breathing in kindness, compassion, attention. Breathing out stress. Noticing the relaxation that comes with the inhale and the exhale. And allowing restfulness, relaxation, calm, and mindfulness to settle in. For this time period on your mat, you can let go of whatever else might be happening in the rest of your life and coming right here into this moment, breathing in and out. We'll bring one hand to heart and the other hand to top, checking in with your heart space. Sending yourself good wishes, offering yourself this opportunity to relax, giving yourself permission to take care of these tenderest parts of you without judgment. Perhaps even allowing these tender parts to be some of your strongest parts. Noticing hand on hand, hand on heart, pressing into that heart space and releasing some oxytocin. Also associated with the pelvic floor region, sending that oxytocin to that region, melting it, softening it, bathing it with positivity, kindness, appreciation, and goodwill for all the things it's done for you. And exhaling anything you'd like to release. Once again, pressing into that heart space and visualizing the cortisol melting in your saliva, melting in your body. Visualizing each cell softening and relaxing. Using the breath to send that oxytocin, some dopamine all around. And exhaling, releasing, and letting go of whatever is weighing you down today. And we'll take the top hand and put it atop your belly, even a little bit below your belly on your pelvic region. And sending the breath, this next inhale, all the way to the palmar surface of the hand on the belly. The exhale, releasing tension. Inhaling that kindness, compassion, softness, and appreciation. And exhaling any tightness, frustration, judgment. We carry a lot of tightness. So allowing the softness in with the next inhale with intention. And exhale, let it go. And I pause here to notice how stable you are, settled you are, connected you are. Notice the chest and belly rise and fall with each breath. With each inhale, send the breath all the way down to the bottom hand over your lower belly. Bathing it with oxygen and healing. And exhale, releasing whatever needs to go away. Taking a moment here in stillness and quiet to listen. And send the inhales wherever they need to go based on your listening. Bathing those parts with kindness, compassion, appreciation, and gratitude. Not frustration that they are achy or painful or causing you to pay attention to them. Just bathing them with kindness on the same team. You and this body on the same team for the duration, perhaps shifting your focus to allow relaxation and kindness and appreciation and gratitude rather than judgment, rather than resistance, rather than frustration, especially around healing. Healing takes as long as it takes, and it happens how it happens. And so when we embrace it and we approach it with kindness, the journey is much more easeful. So sending another long, deep inhale right into the palmar surface of the bottom hand, deep into your lower belly and pelvic region, bathing all those muscles with oxygen. And whatever emotions and feelings you'd like to send there. And then notice how you're sitting. Are you comfortable? Do you need to adjust? Do you need to resend those ischial spines downward? Do you want to tilt your pelvis slightly forward and align your spine tall and gracefully all the way up through your neck to the crown of your head? Inhale, pour the oxygen all the way down through the shoulders, the arms, the hands, the belly, the chest. And exhale, let it out. And on the next inhale, sit up even taller, lengthening, filling yourself up with grace, compassion, kindness, appreciation, and gratitude, every nook and cranny. And exhale, let it out. And taking your top hand that's atop your heart, bringing it alongside the hand on your belly, you can bring all your fingertips together and thumbs together. And if you're inspired to, you can make a heart or you can make a circle, whatever feels like the right shape, right over your lower belly. Just pressing your hands into the belly space, connecting your intention for how you'd like to carry forth in this practice, what energy you'd like to send into your belly. Is it healing energy, softening energy, stabilizing energy, strengthening energy, appreciation energy, gratitude, kindness, or perhaps a blend of those? Taking a moment here to connect with your intention. When we set an intention, our body and mind know where to send the energy. They know what kind of energy to send rather than just random. So it's a beautiful way of making your practice more meaningful and purposeful. and kind. So once again, breathing right into that pelvic region. Send the breath all the way downward, all the way into your root chakra, into the lowest bottom of your spine. And exhale, let it out. Pause for a moment to enjoy whatever feelings are circulating around now, enjoying each cell circulating all the way through every artery to the tiniest pinky and toe. Noticing how you feel, maybe some tingles, maybe some hope, maybe some love. Bring your hands to heart center, palms together, rubbing them together, creating a little bit of warmth. Thumbs together with kindness, and press your thumbs right into that heart space. Finger pads reach towards the sky. Taking a moment here to remind yourself of that intention you set, letting it seep into the heart space as well. Inhale and exhale, long, smooth, and slow. Using the breath as a conduit. And when you're ready, we will open our eyes and lower our hands and come back together and just notice how you feel in this moment. For those of you who are up on your blocks, we will take the blocks out and come to sit in what some people call cheerleader pose. You're going to cross, you're going to bring your right leg in front, your shin across the front, parallel to your mat. You're going to bring your left knee to touch the front of the mat, and the sole of the right foot's going to touch the left thigh. Your left toe is reaching towards the back of your mat. Take a look at me if you're not sure what I'm talking about. You will find your hips and your sit bones, and they will likely be torqued in one direction or the other. So taking a moment to use your hands and get comfortable to sit up tall. Most of you will not have both hips on the earth, and that's fine. And you can adjust as needed, moving one foot farther forward if your knees need that. Take a moment, rest your hands on your thighs, and connect to the very bottom base of your spine, trying to touch that into the earth as you sit tall, growing tall with grace, connecting each vertebrae to the one below, aligning them all the way up through your spine, through your neck to the crown of your head, taking in a big drink of breath, sitting up nice and tall. As you do that, you're going to engage your pelvic floor and lift it up, growing tall, and exhale, release, but staying tall. You will take your left hand, you're going to bring it to your right thigh. Your right hand's going to come behind you into an easy twist. And here you will do what works for you. Inhale to grow tall and lengthen, and exhale to twist to the right. You don't need to twist too much. As you inhale, lift your pelvic floor, envisioning it rising, holding you up, growing tall with the rest of you. And then exhale, a tiny twist to the right. Just notice how you feel with kindness, breathing in that kindness, length, space to grow tall, space to soften. As we soften the pelvic floor and twist, we often get a little more movement here. So sending in the softening all the way down into the bottom of your belly, lifting up and softening at the same time, not full of tension. And exhale, twist a teeny bit more, and just notice here how you feel. You can gaze over the right shoulder if your neck is okay with that. And we'll come slowly back to center, bringing one hand on each knee. Inhale, sit up nice and tall once again here. And exhale, let it out. You'll stretch your legs around front, both legs in front this time. Move the flesh of your seat out of the way. Find your sit bones, engage your belly, reaching your arms up towards the sky. You'll notice your belly engaged. And for today, notice your pelvic floor even more so than your belly. Lifting it up with your arms with kindness. It's like a hammock. Exhaling, fold forward, release your back, release your head and neck, and release and enjoy. Huge breaths in. Pouring them all the way down into the base of your belly today, all the way down to those ischial spines, down through the legs, the backs of the legs to your toes. And as you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, pouring that breath in, and exhale, let it out. Notice your pelvic floor as you inhale, lift it up. And exhale, soften, not necessarily lowering. Noticing this small is significant, subtle is significant. Point your toes and enjoy your shins. Flex your ankles, toes towards your knees. Enjoy that. Touch your big toes together. And release. Toes will reach towards the sky. Huge inhale breath right into your whole sacral region between the belly button and the base of your spine. And exhale, slide forward a tiny bit more. You can round or hinge at the waist, whatever feels right. One of the beautiful things about yoga is it's about noticing. So notice what feels right for your body today. And an invitation to welcome the slowness. Our minds may be distracted, thinking we should be moving. And for most of us, the slowness is what we actually need. It's what our body needs to heal and function at its optimum. And there's a lot of strengthening and stabilizing that comes in the slowness if you embrace it and welcome it. Breathing in once again, pouring that breath all the way down through the lower back, through your rear end, through the backs of your legs, all the way to your toes. And exhale, point your toes once again. Inhale, flex the ankles towards your knees, enjoying the sensations running all the way in the opposite direction. And exhale, release, come back to center. You'll slowly slide up your shins to your thighs and flip your feet to the opposite side. So your left knee will be at the front left corner of the mat, left toes at the front left corner of the mat, right knee at the front corner of the mat, and your right foot reaching towards the back. And you'll find the spot where you can sit up. Don't tweak your knee. And you may notice that you're lopsided on one side or the other. It's different, not a problem. Noticing your hip flexors and your belly here. Taking in a drink of breath and allowing yourself to correct and sit in a spot that feels good to you. And exhale, let it out. A couple more breaths here. Sending the breaths into any tight spots with kindness. If anything hurts, taking it as a message, sending the breath there, perhaps intentionally softening all of the pelvic floor here, not necessarily tightening it, but being aware of it. Thinking about stabilizing, softening, and strengthening all together. Many of us want to strengthen things, but not soften them. And for many of us, the pelvic floor, as it's healing, needs softening. And even as it's strengthening, needs softening. It's a bit of a metaphor for life. We tend to tighten and push, and when softening and relaxing in is the path forward. So breathing in that softening into the lowest, deepest belly, into the core, into the part of you that's you, and the part of you that connects to safety and true desires. Inhale, lengthen and grow tall gracefully with all of that that is you. Exhale, let it out, staying tall, growing even taller on the exhale. Bringing your right hand to your left thigh, left hand behind in a twist that feels good to you. Inhale, grow as tall as feels good. Lifting your pelvic floor as you do. Exhale, twist and soften. Enjoying all the things. Wherever you notice tension, release. Wherever you feel strong or more graceful. Use the breath to breathe in the kindness, pouring it everywhere. And exhaling the tightness, resistance, judgment. Inhaling the good stuff. And exhaling what you would like to release and let go. One more breath, grow tall, lengthen your spine, twist our spine lengtheners. And exhale, gaze over that left shoulder if that's good for you. We'll slowly twist back to center. You can take a quick counter twist to the right hand on your right ankle, left hand on your shin, and just gaze over the right shoulder and come back to center. Bring that right foot around, coming into butterfly pose. Bringing your hands to your ankles, having a little rock. Connect your ischial spines into the earth. Suck your belly in, sitting up nice and tall. Grow your spine once again, kindly, beautifully, gracefully towards the sky, reaching the crown of the head towards the sky. Huge drink of breath. Exhale, hug your heels in towards you where it feels good. And pause here. Draw the breath all the way into your pelvic floor, softening, strengthening, and stabilizing all at the same time. Exhale, let it out. Use the breath. The breath is one of the most helpful tools for healing and pain relief. Breathing in, breath everywhere, sending it to every nook and cranny of your body, anywhere else that would like attention on this breath. And exhale, let it out. Inhale, grow tall, tall, tall. And on the exhale, you'll fold forward. Hands will come to the arches. Drop your head and neck and round forward. As you fold forward, envision that pelvic floor lifting. And exhale, softening. Send the breath there, even as you fold farther forward. You'll notice your lower back release, your head and neck release. You can shake it loose if it needs it, or yes and no. Inhale once again, pouring the breath. And exhale, fold forward a smidge more, perhaps noticing a release in the hips. Sending them permission to release and relax. Taking a moment here to listen, eyes closed, head dropped, sending the breath everywhere. And exhale, let it out. One more breath here. And you'll slowly slide your hands to your shins, wherever they need to go, coming up to a seat. As you arrive seated, hands open on your knees, press the soles of your feet together, taking a moment to notice every cell on the bottom of the soles of the feet, touching fingers, toes, pressing big toe, little toes. Taking a moment to press them together, subtle, significant. As you press your feet together, notice what happens. Huge breath in, palms open on your knees, sitting tall as you can. And exhale, letting go once again of anything you'd like to release. And we'll slowly flip your palms over, spread your legs in front, stretch your legs in front, Taking your hands and opening the legs wide, coming into a wide angle pose, find your sit bones, rock on each sit bone here. Taking a moment to once again connect to the ischial spines. I often cue noticing your navel here. Today, notice your lower belly below the navel, sending the breath there and just noticing, sending the attention and using the muscles there, here to hold you strong, lifting them up like a hammock, walking your hands forward slightly in front, and you'll lean forward, hinging at the waist. Huge breath in, you won't go far. Exhale, walk your hands a smidge more with that hammock lifting up. Inhale, send the breath to the bottom of the spine, to that lowest region. And exhale, letting it go. 2 more breaths here. Folding forwards, hinging forward, to the degree that you can with kindness. No extra judgment needed. Once again, flex your ankles towards your knees and enjoy the backs of the legs here. And notice what that does in your belly. Point your toes. Enjoy the stretch the whole way down the legs and the blood flow shifting, pointing, pointing, pointing. Exhale, relax. Slide your hands up into your groin. You're going to sit up once again, nice and tall. Inhaling your arms out and up towards the sky, noticing your lowest belly. Exhale, drop your shoulders. Inhale, reach your arms tall, tall, tall. Exhale, twist to the left gently, and you'll lower your hands. Your right hand might come to your left thigh, or it might come just in front. Left hand will be behind. And exhaling here. Inhale, once again, grow tall. Spine lengthening. Envisioning yourself the tallest, proudest, most graceful and elegant version of you. Exhale, twist, breathing out over the left shoulder. Not wringing it out today, using this as a lifting of the pelvic floor. Growing tall, lengthening. They say yoga could make you an inch taller when you do it regularly. And exhale, gaze over that left shoulder, let it out. Walking your hands back to center. We're going to switch sides here. Left hand in the middle, right hand behind. Inhale, growing tall, lengthening tall. Left hand will come to the right thigh, right hand behind. Inhale, pouring the breath all the way down to your ischial spines, to your pelvic floor. Exhale, lifting it up, growing tall. Gaze over the left shoulder. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, blowing it out, releasing whatever you'd like to release here, releasing tension, softening to stabilize and strengthen. Send the breath, and with intention, soften. Sending kindness. One more big breath here. As you breathe, notice the other parts, your lower back, your legs, everything should be engaged, helping you, supporting you. Exhale, breathing out over the right shoulder. Once again, you can gaze a little farther over if it feels good. You may notice some release in the shoulder here. And exhale, come back to center. And we will bring our legs together. We're going to come into hands and knees. I'm going to do the hands and knees with my blocks today. So if anyone wants to try this out, it feels good, would be my take on it. The blocks will be directly under your hands as if you were in hands and knees without them. So it makes your arms just longer, but you're not as flat. Your knees will be under your hips. And for those of you who are not using blocks, spread your fingers wide, equal pie shapes. Inhale for a cow pose. Your belly is going to shift forward, crown of the head is going to reach forward, and your lower spine will arch. And enjoy that sensation for a moment. And exhale, coming into cat pose. If you use the blocks, there's less of a stretch, but you can focus more on the tiny movements. Inhale for a slight arch, cow. Crown of the head is reaching forward, your gaze reaching towards the sky, your gaze is forward, your heart is shining forward. And exhale, round, suck your belly up towards the sky. Inhale once again for cow. And exhale, round into cat. Coming back to a flat back, or if you're up on your blocks, it'll be more of an angled back. You're going to stretch your right leg long behind and engage your lower belly, including your pelvic floor. Exhale, release. One more breath here. Heels reaching towards the sky, toes engaged in the floor, right leg engaged fully, coming all the way up into the lower pelvic floor, engaging that. On the inhale, lifting. Exhale, lift further. Once again, inhale. Exhale, drop your right heel to the floor. Your right toes will point to the side at the front of the mat. Reach your arm up towards the sky, coming into a gate pose. For anybody who wants, they can raise their right leg. And if you want, you can reach your right arm over that right ear, lengthening the whole right side. Notice how you feel here. Come to stillness, everything engaged and soft at the same time. Playing with that idea. Inhale, stretch long and enjoy that whole right side body. Exhale, release. If you lift your right leg, you will engage your pelvic floor with kindness. And exhale, release, let it out. Bring your right hand back to the block. Bring your heel towards the sky. Right leg is still extended. Inhale here. Engage your pelvic floor, lifting it up and engaging your belly. Raise your right leg an inch or two. Some of you may want to raise it higher. But for those who are healing or working on strengthening in this region and softening, only raise it an inch or two. You'll still do a lot of shifting as you do. And notice your hips. If they are tilted, even them out, engaging your glute. Breathing all the way with kindness to your toes. Soften your toes, roll your right ankle in one direction and the left. Belly still awake here. Pelvic floor lifted and soft. Lowering your foot, bend your knees. Rocking side to side for a moment, evening things out. Coming to stillness, balanced on either, both hands equally, knees equally, tops of the feet resting on the floor. Inhale for a cow once again. And exhale round for cat. Come back to center. Release your shoulders if you have tension. Noticing always in yoga what's happening and releasing any pocket that tightens. Stretch your left leg long behind, toes on the earth. Notice your belly here. Extend your heel towards the back wall, toes on the floor for right now. Noticing your lowest belly, noticing all the things engaged. Allowing your eyes to close, coming to stillness, and reminding yourself that even as you're still, different things are strengthening. You can rock on your left toes if that feels good, stretching the calf or holding stillness. Offer yourself both and see what feels good. Inhale, pouring the breath all the way down to the left sole of the foot. Exhale, drop your heel to the floor and reach that left arm towards the sky. Pausing here for a moment, you may need to change the kickstand of that right foot to support you. Very often, less is more here, not overdoing it, pouring the breath into every spot that opens up here. Sending the breath each time down into that pelvic region, a spot we rarely send the breath. We usually fill up the nooks and crannies of the lungs or the belly, but sending it all the way down to the bottom, sending attention, kindness, appreciation for this deepest core part of you that does tons of work. And when it doesn't work, it's very noticeable. Sending the breath everywhere. If you want to reach your left hand over your left ear, extend the whole left line of the body, you can do that. If you want to lift up that left leg, do so while paying attention to your pelvic floor, using those muscles and seeing how it's different. Reaching your left hand up towards the sky, coming back to hands and knees, evening yourself out. Stretch that left leg long once again, hips even flat to the floor. Notice your shoulders, if they're all bunched up in your ears, send the breath to relax. And on the exhale, lift your toes a couple inches, not too high today. And just noticing the energy shift, send the breath to stabilize and soften all at the same time. 2 more breaths here. Pointing your toe, flexing your heel, toes, rolling your ankles in both directions, and send the breath with kindness to your sacral region, below the belly button, all the way down to the base of your spine, bathing the whole area with breath here. As it's awakened, you'll bring your left knee back to center. You can widen your knees, taking the blocks out of the way for the moment, just to the side. We're gonna come into downward dog. Curl your toes, walk your hands forward a smidge, lift your hips up towards the sky, drop your head and neck, and notice how you want your feet wide, not wide. Have a little soft movement here. You can walk the dog. And as you're here, draw your attention back to that pelvic floor once you arrive. Inhale, lifting it up. And exhale, softening. Use the breath and attention here. Let the rest and the mindfulness, meaning attention and focus, land in that area of your body today. Reaching your hips up towards the sky, high as you can. Lower your head and neck. Send more breath here into the chest, filling the whole torso. Exhale, lower your head and neck a smidge more. Lower your heels. Lift up onto your tippy toes and lower them down. Three deep breaths. Just notice where the blood flow is needed. Notice where the breath is needed. Is it your lower back, your belly, your calves, your hamstrings, shoulders, wrists? What is calling to you? Pause and listen. When you are ready, walk your hands back towards your feet, coming into a forward fold. Release your hands so that you're sagging, relaxing. Bend your knees and grab your elbows, releasing everything, head and neck, lower back. And here, shift your weight from side to side. Hands are off the floor. If it doesn't feel good for your head, you can use blocks. Shift your weight into your toes and your heels. Find your center. Find your center with the earth. And when you found it, pause. And then draw your attention to your center in your belly. Can you find it here, even upside down? When you find it, pause and send the breath there. Lower your hands and you'll engage your belly and your pelvic floor with kindness and rolling up, unrolling inch by inch like pearls on a string all the way to standing. Just notice how you feel when you arrive. Let the tingles go where they would like to. Huge drink of breath and exhale, let it out. Lifting up all 10 toes, sending them down like roots into the earth. Draw the earth's energy up into your legs, to your knees, engage your thighs, tuck your belly, align your spine all the way up towards the sky. Huge drink of breath into the chest and belly, pouring it downward. Exhale, drop your shoulders with intention, palms open towards the front. Once again, huge breath in, grow tall. Growing tall, tall, tall. And the in-breath, lift up the pelvic floor with kindness, and exhale, let it out. Send that inhale breath, bathing your whole pelvic floor as it works to hold you standing. And exhale, soften, stabilize. And pause for a moment here, just noticing how you feel, perhaps wiggling fingers and toes. Bring a hand to heart and a hand to belly today, checking in. And notice messages. With your eyes closed here, if possible, and if you have balance issues, leave your eyes open. Take an inhale all the way down to the palmar surface of that bottom hand and fill up your belly. Exhale, let it out. Inhale, slowly rise up onto your tiptoes. Lift your pelvic floor and engaging with kindness, everything under that hand on your belly, all the way up to your tiptoes. Eyes can be closed or open, depending on which is better for your balance. And notice the toes here. Your belly's engaged, standing tall. Your toes might need to make some subtle movements to keep you standing, reaching up tall, 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 high on your tiptoes. Notice the higher you go on your tiptoes, what happens, what lifts in your belly. Lift your belly, lift your chest. Reach the crown of your head towards the sky. Huge breath in. Exhale, lower your heels towards the floor slowly and let it out. Notice how you feel. Notice if your knees are locked, let them go. Lift up your toes. You'll lower both hands towards the floor. Inhale your arms out and up towards the sky. Slight arch back. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Press your thumbs into your sternum. Open your arms out wide. We're going to come into eagle pose. You'll wrap right elbow under left, cross the elbows, palms come to the back, thumbs come together. As you inhale and lift your elbows, lift your belly and your pelvic floor at the same time. Exhale, softening and lifting. Inhale, lift up a little bit more. Exhale, bring elbows to shoulder height, drawing the attention to the shoulders, but also the pelvic floor as you inhale here. Exhale, pause. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, allow the elbows to come into the upper belly, fold forward, and enjoy the release, relaxation. As you fold forward, notice your pelvic floor lift to stabilize. Send the breath there and stabilize and soften at the same time. Healing, supporting, stabilizing. One more breath here, sending it to any area of tightness that needs attention, love, oxygen, softening. Reach your elbows back to shoulder height. You're going to raise them up. Untangle, stretch them wide towards the sides. Palms will press into the sidewall. Pinch your scapula and exhale, release. Turn your palms towards the front and wrap your arms in the opposite direction, left elbow under right, coming into eagle arms here. Elbows will come to shoulder height, lift the pelvic floor at the same time. Exhale, pause, release, soften. Inhale, lift up, sending the breath into any tight muscle here. Engage does not mean tightened and held. Exhale, releasing, softening. 2 more breaths, lift up. Exhale, lower to shoulder height. Micro movements here, subtle is significant. Breath can soften without even stretching. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower your elbows into your upper belly. Allow your head and neck to release. Notice your pelvic floor lift as you do this. Send the breath to every spot in the back body too if it needs attention. When one thing is tight, many other things are tight in reaction. And so softening whatever feels tight as you soften the pelvic floor as well. One more breath here. Elbows coming back to shoulder height. Release, untangle, lowering your hands down by your side. Notice your feet, lift up your toes, root them downward, all 10 toes, envisioning them like those tiny baby plant roots spreading out. Come to your belly. You'll bring your hands to heart center, noticing your belly here. Hands on your belly for a moment, just finding it, re-engaging it. The lower part below your belly button. You can even do that heart shape if you want as you press into it, just reminding yourself it's there. You can keep your hands here if you want, or bring them to heart center if you need support with balance. Thumbs will come to your sternum, palms together. Rooting the left foot downward, engaging the left leg and the left glute. You're going to raise your right knee to hip height and pause here. Noticing the wobbles. Sending the breath into the pelvic region for stability. Not tightening, stabilizing, softening, supporting yourself here. Notice the wiggles and the wobbles. If you want to reach your arms out like a T, you can. You want to keep them at heart center, you can. You want to keep them on your belly, you can. Focus on the breath and soften. Roll your right ankle to the right and to the left, distracting you from the tips. And you'll take a final big in-breath. And exhale, lower your right leg, rolling out both ankles and your hips, releasing everything if need be. Coming back to your right foot. Send the right toes, lift them up, send them downward like roots. Root that whole right leg downward. Inhale and raise the left knee to hip height and pause. Again, it doesn't seem fancy, and yet lots of things working with grace, appreciating all of them. Your hands can be on your belly or to heart center, whatever feels good to you. Three more breaths. Roll your ankles if that feels good, the left ankle. You can point and flex your toe if that feels good. Bring your arms out if that feels good. Or even up if you wish, and have a steeple finger, see if that feels good. Once again, noticing what feels good. Nothing's better or worse. You're reaching your fingers tall. Lengthen the side body with intention here. Bringing hands back to heart center if they are out, or belly. Lowering your foot, shaking it out, rolling it out. And wherever you happen to be, come to the top of the mat. Inhaling your arms out and up. Slight arch back, and we'll fold forward, forward, fold. If you have blocks, grab them in your forward fold. Release your head and neck. Inhale for a half lift. Spine is straight, rear end sticks out. Notice what happens to your belly and lower pelvic region when you do this. Exhale, forward fold. From the forward fold, step your right foot back. We're going to lower down into Anjaneyasana or low lunge. So you're going to bring your blocks wherever they are there to support you. In this low lunge, the focus is once again on the pelvic region today, not on the hip flexors, which is what we usually do. And so in order to do that, you want to support your hands well, support your hip well. So as you arrive here, notice the sole of the left foot and the top of the right foot, and tack your left hip back gently, just a smidge. Inhale, once again, grow from the tiniest tip of the coccyx all the way through the crown of your head, lengthening each vertebrae, filling each intervertebral space with breath, blood flow. Exhale, allowing yourself to soften in only a tiny bit more as you grow even taller. This time, send the inhale into the pelvis. Sending all that breath there to soften, heal, strengthen, stabilize. Noticing which of those words feels like what your body needs. Perhaps it needs a combination. Send the breath into the pelvic region as you're here. And just notice, you can send the breath and lift, you can send the breath and soften. Notice what it needs. Two more breaths. And you will slowly straighten your right leg. Walk the blocks forward to hands and knees with the blocks. And you'll switch sides. You'll bring your right foot forward, coming into Anjaneyasana on this side. Your right toe is going to stretch forward. Your back knee is going to come back. And use the blocks once again, so you're not supporting the hip. So you can pour that breath all the way into the spine and into the belly. Your heart is shining forward. Crown of the head is reaching tall. And noticing here, even though we're not moving, you're strengthening and stabilizing tiny little things. Subtle is significant. These teensy little deep core muscles can change everything if they're not working and if they are strong and supportive. Noticing which ones need the breath. And notice if you're scrunching your shoulders, you're folded. Three more breaths here, pouring it wherever is needed. You can make micro adjustments and notice if anything feels better. And when you feel complete, you'll bring your right foot back. We're going to come into child's pose. If you have blocks, I invite you to use them. Bring two blocks in front of you and you'll put your forearms on the block. Your fingers will reach the front and you'll lower your forehead towards the earth with your hands on the blocks and lower your hips towards your heels. And focus on that pelvic region once again. Sending the breath anywhere it needs to go. Softening all the tiny little muscles. Think of it as like a Mexican woven blanket. And how can you be kind, heal, strengthen, and stabilize? Or a hammock. Dropping your pelvis, hips towards your heels. Noticing your armpits and your fingers. Do they need attention? If your forehead doesn't touch the floor with your hands on the blocks, you can move them. The hands on the blocks send some breath and stretch to different parts of your shoulders and your armpits. And being in child's pose differently may allow you different access to that pelvic region. When you're ready, we'll slowly come out. You can move your blocks to the side, and we're going to come forward into Sphinx pose. Lying on your belly, untuck your knees, tops of the feet will be on the floor. Elbows will be directly under your shoulders, forearms on the floor, fingers spread wide like pie shapes. Inhale, lift your heart, shining forward. Your pelvis and the front of your hips will connect into the earth. Tops of the feet light. Exhale, grow a little taller, shine your heart a little farther forward, crown of the head reaches towards the sky. Inhale, reach, grow, stretch. Pouring the breath all the way into the pelvic region, different things awakening here, lower back also supporting you. Exhale, release. Two more breaths here. Send the breath wherever needs attention. You can close your eyes perhaps and you may notice more. Listen well. Yoga is an opportunity for insight into your body, into your feelings, into your emotions. We slow down enough to notice. And when we relax, we have much more access to notice. One more breath here. And you'll curl your toes and come back into child's pose in whatever way works for you. To release the lower back and the belly, wiggle your fingers forward, lower your forehead. Softening and releasing. When you're ready, you'll slowly come up to a seat from here and lie on your back. You can keep your blocks nearby if you want. You don't need them unless you want to do a supported bridge rather than an active bridge. And so lying on the floor, notice your sacrum, the backs of your scapula, palms on the floor, arms on the floor, soles of the feet on the floor if your knees are bent. Huge breath in and out. If your legs are straight, bend your knees and bring your heels closer to your rear end. Press your palms into the earth and lift up into a bridge. The bridge that feels good to you. You'll notice your pelvic floor here is engaged in a different way. And make your bridge kind. So if you need a block for a supported bridge, just let the blood flow just go into that area. That's fine. You want to engage everything and lift up, shimmy as high as you can. If If you want to stay halfway, which is where I am today, and enjoy some things waking up, but not too many. Playing with it and noticing. Remember to breathe. And remember to focus your attention on that pelvic hammock, sending the breath there. And noticing for many of us, even as we're healing, it's the softening because it's often gripping. Or does it need stabilizing? Does it need both? We always focus on we have to strengthen it. But what will support you best? What will allow it to support you best? How can you support it? Lifting up a tiny bit more if that feels good. Huge breath in, and as you exhale, lower down, unrolling your spine like pearls on a string. Bring your right knee up to tabletop and hold it there. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, lower it down. Bring your left knee up to tabletop, hold it there. Take a breath and lower it down. You're going to bring your right knee into your chest, hands onto the shin. Stretch the left leg long if that's accessible to you. We're going to do one-legged happy baby. So you'll take your right hand, bringing it to the outer edge of the right foot, and the right sole of the foot will come to the sky, facing the sky. The knee is bent. Your left hand can rest gently on the front of the left hip to support you, or you can do a T or cactus with the left hand. Sending the breath into the right leg and the right groin area in this happy baby. Huge breath in, all the way into the pelvic region. It's kind of interesting that happy baby is good for a pelvic region where babies come from. Struck me as funny this morning. Breathing into that pelvic region here. 2 more breaths on this side. And use that left hand to stabilize the left hip and the left leg. Noticing if they're just relaxed and done whatever, gone wonky. Gently bring your right foot into your groin and you'll release it and lower it down, stretch it alongside the left. Just notice how it feels. And you'll bring that left knee in towards you, coming into happy baby on that side. You might need to bend the right knee to do this if your belly is tender. That's okay. And then re-stretch the right leg. In happy baby on the left side, left sole of the foot reaches towards the sky. Your left elbow's on the inside of the left knee. And the groin is opening. Same thing on this side. Send the breath with kindness, bathing all the nooks and crannies of the pelvic region with blood flow, oxygen, kindness, appreciation, and gratitude for all the things they hold in all day. They keep them in place, all the ways in which they help you do all the things you love to do. Oftentimes we don't appreciate these muscles until they don't work. And so rather than strengthening them and thinking of them as a weakness, and I have to do this to make sure something terrible doesn't happen to me, sending the breath and using them as friends on your team, supporting players. Gently bring that left foot into the groin and slide your right foot up. We're going to come into a regular double-sided happy baby for a little rock and a sacral massage, if that feels good to you. Bringing soles of the feet together, heels coming into your groin. You'll release your hands, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana or reclining butterfly. Hand to belly, hand to heart. Just notice how you feel. Sending the breath into that pelvic region. One of your hands may want to be on the belly below the belly button if that feels good. Breathing and focusing on the release. Allowing yourself to soften into the restorative pose. Restorative yoga is designed for healing, designed for restoration, but also strengthening and stabilizing. When our nervous systems are relaxed is when the healing happens, when the growth happens. Bring your hands to the outer edges of your thighs. Draw your knees together. Walk your feet to the outer edge of the mat and drop your knees to the right. Just a quick, easy twist. Notice what happens to your belly as you do this. You can keep your right hand on your belly to support it if needed. Inhale, bring your knees back to center. Exhale, left hand to lower belly. Drop your knees. Your knees will knock together. Feet are on the outer edge of the mat. Drop your knees to the left side. Enjoy the release in your spine and perhaps the release in your belly. 2 breaths here. Allowing everything to slow. On the inhale, bring your knees back to center. Organize your sacrum, your hips, your shoulders. We will come into Shavasana. If you want a bolster under your legs, feel free. You can stretch your legs long, allow the toes to fall towards the outer edge of the mat. Palms open to the sky and soften in. Taking a huge drink of breath. Sending it to every fingertip, toe tip. Exhale, release and soften in, surrendering to all that is, giving yourself a few moments here to rest fully, completely, and enjoy. If you wish to stay in Shavasana longer, feel free. Take advantage of the opportunity to restore. If you are ready to come out, gently deepen your breath. Slowly start to wiggle fingers and toes. Letting the consciousness come back into your body. Drinking in some delicious breath and stretching long, arms in front, arms above, toes stretching long. Filling every nook and cranny, noticing your belly stretch, and notice your lower belly as you do this. Send the breath there. Exhale, letting it out. Curling over to pause in a fetal position. Use your arm as a pillow if you wish. And take a moment there. A moment to connect with this deepest core region of you. A moment to send it that intention that you had. Kindness, acceptance, gratitude, appreciation. Giving it permission to soften, giving it permission to heal, and perhaps setting an intention to pay attention to it in the future, not just to strengthen it, but to stabilize it and soften it and heal it, to support it well, so it can support you well. And when you feel complete, press into your hands and come up to a comfortable seat where we began. Find your sit bones, connect them into the earth. Drop right back into that Shavasana feeling. You can close your eyes if that feels good. You don't have to. Resting your hands on your thighs. Inhale, grow the spine, vertebra one atop the other, each intervertebral space filled with breath and blood. Exhale, release. And you'll bring a hand to heart, hand to belly. Upper belly, lower belly, wherever it wants to be. Checking in. Noticing how you feel. Thank you all so much for practicing with me today. May you all have a healthy week of supporting yourself well, healing, softening, stabilizing, strengthening, and enjoying.